Macron announces new national lockdown in France. French President Emmanuel Macron has announced a second lockdown in France from Friday, to try to combat a strong resurgence of the coronavirus. With over 520 deaths recorded on Tuesday, the French leader said that a new nationwide lockdown would be the only possible way to successfully fight COVID-19. France has been overpowered by a second wave, Mr. Macron said in a national televised address on Wednesday. The government is scheduled to lay out the details of the new lockdown on Thursday. Mr. Macron said schools would remain open. Jamais la France ne laissera mourir des centaines de milliers de ses concitoyens, ce ne sont pas nos valeurs. Earlier German officials agreed to impose a 4-week partial lockdown. The World Health Organization says the European region, which includes Russia, Turkey, Israel, and Central Asia, according to its definition, accounted for almost half of the 2.8 million new coronavirus cases reported globally last week. The UN Health Agency said virus-related deaths were also on the rise in Europe, with about a 35% spike since the previous week, as well as hospitalizations due to COVID-19. We are deep in the second wave, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen told reporters in Brussels. I think that this year's Christmas will be a different Christmas. The European Union, Britain, Norway, Switzerland and Iceland alone accounted for 1.1 million cases over the past 7 days, she said, and we expect this number to keep rising in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and rapidly. German officials have agreed to a 4-week shutdown of restaurants, bars, cinemas, theaters and other leisure facilities in a bid to curb a sharp rise in coronavirus infections, Chancellor Angela Merkel said. Ms. Merkel and the country's 16 state governors, who are responsible for imposing and easing restrictions, agreed on the partial lockdown in a video conference. It is set to take effect on Monday and last until the end of November. Ms. Merkel said, "We must act, and now, to avoid an acute national health emergency." Restaurants will still be allowed to serve takeout food. Shops and schools are to remain open, unlike during Germany's shutdown during the first phase of the pandemic. The decision came hours after Germany's disease control agency said a record 14,964 new confirmed cases were recorded across the country in the past day, taking the national total in the pandemic to 449,275. In France, more than half of the country's intensive care units are already occupied by COVID-19 patients. France reported 288 new virus-related deaths in hospitals in 24 hours on Tuesday and 235 deaths in nursing homes over the previous 4 days. Both figures mark the biggest